Hi, Michael Bettine here, and if you've seen any of my recent posts on social media, you will know that I now have the full set of 7 Paiste Bronze Gongs that I got last Thursday. And I'm going to be making a very detailed series of videos on them where I really dig deeper into the sounds and the potential of these new bronze gongs. But first, we have this video, which was very impromptu. So you have to excuse the sound. The gongs will not be in super high quality because it was just the camcorder mics. As I said, it was very impromptu. I was down here in my studio working with the gongs, and it occurred to me that I should show everybody what do I do when I get a new gong, and what you can do to help learn about a new gong. So the video will feature the number 0 here, and it's just me going through my routine and doing a little bit of explanation about how I approach learning and understanding a new gong. So check it out here right now on It's Cuppa Time. This is going to be a very informal video. I'm down here in my studio and I have just received all 7 of the Paiste Bronze Gongs. And I was down here working with them and I thought maybe I should just show you my process of what I do. So I have all 7 of them set up here. I have a few behind me over here. I've got my 32-inch symphonic gong here, which is my main gong, and everything I do is based off of that gong. So that always goes with my setup. But I'm designing a new gong setup to bring out in a few weeks when I start playing again. And going through these gongs, getting to know them. So I thought I would just give you an idea of what I do. My plan is to go through each gong one at a time and really kind of learn them. So I'm starting with the first one, number 0. So this is all I do. I've got one mallet. This is the Paiste M4 with the wooden handle that came with the set. And I'm just going to explore it. And a lot of this is very quiet and subtle because I want to learn how the gong feels under the mallet, how it feels to my hands. I want to listen closely. I want to learn the subtleties. Most people would probably just go right in and just start crashing away and making a big noise. I want to build up to that. So this is my actual process. You might notice, I'm right up here on the gong. I like to have my ear there. My ear is probably like maybe 8 inches, 6 inches away. I want to hear the subtleties of how they come off the surface of the gong. So I like to get right up in there. And then I'll step back and listen to it from a distance. I want to hear what's translating out of those sounds. As you notice, I hit the center and got the deep sound. I hit towards the edge, I got more harmonics. So I want to explore the different areas. And part of it too is what sort of force does it take to bring that sound out. So right now I'm just trying to feel it and be able to be consistent, bringing out the same tone here in the center and the same tone in the edge each time. One thing I want you to notice is how I'm hitting the gong. I'm not hitting into the gong. I'm coming off the gong, drawing the sound out. And that's part of my percussive training. When you play a drum, you don't just play it and go. You hit it and come off. So I use the same technique here. I see a lot of people in videos just kind of or bouncing it off the gong, and you end up muting it. Now if that's intentional, that's fine, but to just hit it and kind of leave the mallet on there, notice how it mutes it. And that's fine if that's what you're looking to do. Right now, I'm looking to open things up to draw the sound out. Changing things up. I brought the volume up, harder strokes, and I brought the volume down. And what I'm looking for right now, especially here, is the harmonics. How can I work with those? How can I keep those harmonics at different volumes, different force of the stroke? Some really nice sounds coming out there. Now another part of this too is getting used to this mallet. It's a different one than I normally play with. And it has a weighted head, so it's fairly heavy, and I can feel that weight, which is nice as far as there's a little more oomph when you try to get the gong to open up because you have the weight. Now if you're using just a very light mallet, you tend to need more, more body into it. Where with a heavier mallet, the mallet takes care of that. You don't have to, force it as much. I see no need to hold mallet, especially something that's this heavy, by the bottom, unless I'm reaching. If I'm standing over here and trying to hit a gong over here, then I'll do that. But again, I normally hold the mallet closer to the head and sometimes halfway. And by moving, I can get a different throw. So up here, there's not much throw, and the weight here isn't really being utilized. But I need more volume, more throw. If I move my hand down here, suddenly, there's more force. The weight can be used. So as I talked in a previous video about, people ask, what mallet can I use to play softly? And I said, any mallet. Not trying to be, humorous or anything there, but it's the truth. This is a good example of a mallet here. If I choke up on the mallet, I cannot play loudly unless I use a lot of arm and shoulder and that. If I'm just playing like this, it's very easy to control the volume. Because even with this weighted head here, I'm not letting the weight take over. Whereas if I move down here, suddenly the weight really becomes a part of it, becomes a factor. So to play quietly, choke up on the mallet, whatever type you have, whether it's a padded one, even so then here's a yarn wound marimba mallet. If I play it back here, I can get some throw, like you can see it. But if I play here, play very quietly. So I'll explore all these types of techniques with this mallet, with different mallets, and again, I want to learn the gong. So I'm going to take my time. Start with 0. I'll move up to number 1, and I'll go to 2, 4. I'll go through all of them with this process. It might take me weeks, but that's okay, because that's what you have to do, I'm not going to just okay, I've played all the gongs and I know and understand them, because these gongs are amazing. They're so different. The bronze reacts very differently than the nickel silver. And these are new, even though these gongs are physically 2 years old, they're new. They've been sitting in a crate for about a year, and they've been sitting before that over at the warehouse. So now I'm changing to the slightly larger, slightly heavier M5 mallet. Repeat the same process, and I'll go through that with all types of mallets. I have my whole mallet bag here, but just want to go through subtly at first, just see how the gong reacts, what it's doing. Again, moving back and forth. I want to hear what it sounds like up close. I want to hear what it sounds like as it projects further. And, you know, it'll always sound so much different up here because we're hearing all the little nuances, all the subtleties. Like the difference between the center and the edge, two very distinct tones. At a low volume, because I normally don't play things, you know, super loud. So here's my Bolter rollers. I'll give those a little test on here. Responsive gong. I can feel it under the mallet moving and the sound opening up, but I can also tell that it's new and it still feels stiff. Part of that might be because it's the B8 bronze versus nickel silver, but I think the big part of it is this gong has not been played. And as I play it and play it and play it, from my experience, is gongs seem to loosen up some. And part of that is the gong itself. The other part is me learning how to get the different sounds out of it. So it would be fun to do this on an annual basis. Like a year from now, after I've done all the videos on these, is to revisit them and see how things have changed. You know, give my opinions on that. So that's just a quick look at, you know, how I work with new gongs. Like I said, I'll go through other mallets. In fact, I have my whole mallet bag here. So, I mean, there's a lot of different things. I won't try all of these, but I'll use various vibe and marimba mallets. I've got other types of gong mallets. So there's 7 gongs in this bronze series. So each gong will go through this. And then there's 4 new Paiste wooden handled mallets to try out and to learn and to experience on these gongs. So when you get a new gong, as I always say, you gotta do your homework. You can't just get a gong and expect to play it and hit it a few times and that's it. I will spend hours on each one of these gongs. And then the other part of that is working with the gongs in pairs. Pick two gongs and work with those together so that I can see how they work together, what sort of sound combinations I can get when the sounds blend. Work with gongs in threes. And then what I'm really trying to do right now is put together a setup to use. I'm not going to use all 7 bronze gongs when I go out to play, but I'm going to use a combination of a couple nickel silver gongs and some bronze gongs. Probably 2 nickel silver and 4 bronze to start, because I mean they're gorgeous instruments, you know. But it really is a question of I have to work at this. I'm just not going to show up at a gig with 4 or 5 new gongs and expect things to be really great, because I want to do the best I can. I don't want to just experiment on people and just show up and it's like, well, whatever happens, I've never played these before. And we'll see. Granted, with my experience, I could probably get away with that and nobody would be the wiser and it would probably sound fine. But I'm a professional. I take a lot of pride in what I do, so I want to put some time into it. Put in my homework. Even after all these years, I still do that. And this is what I do with every new gong, whether it's something like this or it's a small, small gong, small chow or wind gong or something, whatever type of gong, I play it. Some take a little more playing than others to learn. Some take years. I've got some gongs that have taken me a long time to really master and figure out what to do to get the sounds that I like out of them. So this is Bronze Gong 0, and just giving you kind of a heads up introduction as far as how to approach a brand new gong. All right, we'll see you next time. Ciao.